doing your stretching and warm-ups. Okay, true believers, another day, another vlog, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, you're looking at these and you're saying, what are those? Anyway, these are our new AlphaFly 3 Nike, and this is actually our third time out with it. The first time we had with it was good. He enjoyed it, he liked it. He almost was going as far to say as he likes it more than his Adios Pro 3, until we took it on our second run. And on our second run, first run, we did about 10 miles, and it was great. Second run, we did 10 miles, but we incorporated some hills instead of our usual flat area. I said, hey, let's do some hills with this to try to get some more strengthening and conditioning by doing hills. And that's where he kind of got tired towards the end, and maybe the last 2 or 3 miles his form suffered, and that's when things kind of started going wrong. He kind of developed blisters. Which was it, right foot, left foot?
Left foot.
The left foot, like towards here on the top of his left forefoot. And it wasn't that bad, but it was towards the end, he said, uncomfortable. And so to sum it up, what happened was he was tired from doing the hills. And when you're tired, these are not the shoes that you want to be on like a tired kind of cruising run with it. These shoes are meant for speed, where you're like constantly, because if you look at it, it constantly forces you to your forefoot, to the ball of your feet. So these are for like forefoot runners, where you're spending as little time as possible with the ground. This is what it's ideal for. Now that's fine, but like I said, when Hero gets tired, then that form kind of goes out the door, and that's where you're kind of wishing that you didn't have all this shoe meant for racing instead of like a long distance running. So our assessment is this is great for short runs. Now if you can do like for example 5K, 10K, I think for Hero this is probably a good 10K, because he could constantly run without slowing down or getting tired. But when you're doing a marathon, a long distance marathon, then you don't, unless you're Kipchoge, where these shoes are made for, where you can go 13 miles per hour the whole time for 2 hours, then yeah, these are perfect. But if you're like a regular person like us, an average runner, then it's not ideal for long distances. For short distances where you can have good fast form, then yeah, these are great. Walk back. But if you're walk over it, so that way it gets you in the habit of high knees. So if you're doing for short distances, like I said, 5K, 10K, then yeah. But if you're doing a full marathon where you're going 26 miles, even a half marathon, 13 miles, so you're talking about 2 hours of running. Your first hour, you could probably get away with wearing this, but for the second hour, it's going to be painful, because you're going to be fighting it, and you're gonna want a shoe that is made for longer contact. For this one, like I said, it's meant for racing. So what's your conclusion here? Well, for today's run, what we decided to do was we're gonna run the usual 10 miles. But for the first 6 miles, before he starts to slow down, we're gonna avoid hills, and so we can focus on using this the proper form. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch to his Adios Pro for the second half. So these are our tools of the trade here. Of course, I got my mountain bike where I chase him with. Got your overtime sunscreen, and over off lotion, sunscreen. And then over here, and of course we got our sunglasses, but it's overcast today, so it's really not necessary, but we like to wear them. Of course, you got to have your water. And over here we have our Adios Pros for the long distance, so we're going to be wearing these the second half. So the idea was these were going to be his race day shoes, and these were going to be his daily trainers. So the second half, what we're going to do is we're going to switch to something more comfortable in a more slower, comfortable speed in the second 5 or 6 miles. So the first 5 or 6 miles, we're going to use the AlphaFly, and the second 5 or 6 miles, we're going to try to do 12 miles, is use these when he gets tired towards the end. And these ones are here in case it rains. So that's the plan here, or that's the ideal, or that's the strategy if you're going, what these AlphaFlies are for. They're good race day shoes, but you have to know your limit. If you can only do a 5K at a high speed, then these are ideal. Anything more than that, then you're kind of struggling and it's not comfortable. And for our purposes, he developed blisters because of those hills. So today we're gonna avoid, number one, we're gonna avoid these hills, and number two, we're gonna keep our run with this short, probably around 6 miles, 5 to 6 miles, and then switch over to the shoes that are going to be more comfortable at a slower pace. So this is just his warm-up, and like I said, we like to do hurdles because it encourages you to run with higher knees. With higher knees, you have less ground contact, which means you get less tired, and also you have a longer stride and your muscles are used more instead of less stress on your joints. So that's the update. And what else? He's as usual, he's wearing his Garmin watch from the early 2010s. He wears it every day because he likes to track like how many steps he's doing. It's not an advanced one. Here, show him what your Garmin watch looks like. It looks like something you get out of a Cracker Jack box, but he wears it every day. Like I said, he likes how it tracks his heart, tracks his even when he's not running, he'll wear it just to track how his activity is doing. But he definitely likes to wear it for running, and then he starts wearing it just to wear. Okay, so we're finished with our warm-up. Now let's go on our run with our AlphaFly 3s. Okay, he did about 4 miles, so he can do easily a 5K easily in these shoes. But that's when I noticed he started getting tired, so 5K, these shoes are perfect for him anyway. But if you can go full speed, well, eventually we'll try to work our way to a 10K, but according to our 90s Garmin watch, and we like Garmin. This watch is old and it works, but these new ones are so expensive. So Garmin, we're actually going to go to a Garmin marathon, see if we can have Garmin. Hey Garmin, sponsor us and send us some watches here, and if they weren't so expensive, I wouldn't be e-begging, and we'll say how great they are. Well, actually they're pretty good because we use them all the time, as you can see. But it's time for us to change shoes. So if you could probably figure out the splits there. So 4 minutes, we did 4 miles, 37 minutes. So you do the math there. So 37 divided by 4 is what the hell is that? 10 miles per hour. Is doing 10 miles per hour? No. So anyway, that's his splits. Okay, let's change shoes. Here we go. Time to switch to these. These are more comfortable. In the first day he wore it, there were some hot spots like here at
this part.
That part right there. But then as he went along, it got better. So these are short. If you want speed and at the short distance, go for these. But for a long, cruising, comfortable pace, these are our shoes. So we got to switch from these to these. So when he's doing his fitness test, this is what he's going to go for. But he's going for long, comfortable, just cruising speed. These are his go-to because they're just so soft and comfortable. The only problem with these is that the left one, it squeaks.
Yeah,
but then after a couple of miles, the squeak stops. So I don't know if we assume, our guess is the energy rods are squeaking, but then after they get warmed up, they stop squeaking. So that was the only issue we had with these. But with this, you can tell. So he had to stop and get tired after 4 miles, and I go, yeah, let's switch shoes if you're getting tired. You can tell you have bad form in these if it starts to squeak.
Yeah.
It's you're doing too much foot contact when they're squeaking. But when you have good form, you just hear like a light tap off the ground and then launch off. These are designed to launch you off the ground. They're already like leaning forward, already getting you, propulsing you on your toes. But over long distances, as you get tired, that's not what you want to do. And these are our go-to right here. These are good old reliable. Now, just make sure that those squeaks don't get worse, then we're fine. So that's our shoe first impression update. Great for speed, but not great for long distances. This one, not as fast, but great for long distances. So we'll wear this in the beginning when we have a lot of energy, and then we'll go with these when we just want to cruise and try to run as long as we can without getting too tired. Here we go with the Adios Pros.
Oh, much better. So much better.
Okay, as much as we like the AlphaFlies, these are just way more comfortable when you're doing long distances. Okay, let's continue another 6 miles with these. We just did 4 miles, let's do 6 miles. Okay, here's the final tally in an hour and a half of a distance 10.13 miles of a pace of 9 minutes and 36 seconds per mile, I assume. Calories 1,258. So, if you remember, he did the first 4 miles about 10, let's just say 9.5 miles per hour, versus the second half of the next 6 miles, he did about 6 miles per hour. So, as you can see with the Nike Vaporfly, it's built for speed, but not for distance. It's not comfortable over a long period of time. For a short period of time, first half an hour, it's great, but after an hour or so, it starts becoming painful. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next vlog.